Your APAS report is your student degree audit. That means it shows what you need to do to complete your degree requirements. You and your advisor will use the APAS throughout your career at the university, and when you apply to graduate, your college will use the APAS to audit your coursework to see if you did everything you were supposed to do to earn your degree. It is specific to your major and to you, based on the term you declare your degree program. Your degree program is made up of a bunch of courses. For all university students, these courses satisfy liberal education, writing intensive, and major requirements. Some students' colleges or majors might have different requirements, and all of these count toward what you have to take to get your degree. We're just going to cover the basics of an APAS so you know what one looks like and so you can get familiar with the different sections. You'll cover it in more detail during orientation, when you meet with your advisor, and throughout your academic career. There are some basics to know. Your APAS report has multiple pages and all of the information is important. The APAS uses requirements and sub-requirements to tell you what you need to take. A requirement is satisfied when you fulfill its sub-requirements. Sub-requirements are complete when you have enough credits or courses to meet them. The APAS uses real-time data. That means what you print one day might be different the next as information is updated. You may want to review it as you prepare to meet with your advisor, and you will want to look at it more than once during your time at the university. The APAS is not a substitution for meeting with an advisor. At the top of your report, you'll find the date the APAS was run, your degree program, student ID, and name on the left. In the middle are your college and degree program names. On the right, the most important information to know is your bulletin term year. The requirements you need to follow for your degree program are specific to your bulletin term year. Think of it as the year and term you declared your degree program. Whatever degree requirements were in place when you declared are the ones you need to follow in order to graduate. There is nothing you need to do with your bulletin term year, just know what it is and its connection to your degree requirements. In this section, you'll see the last term of your enrollment, the code associated with your college, advising information, and any service indicators that apply to you. A service indicator is usually something you need to take care of. For example, you may be required to meet with your advisor before you register for classes. Also in this section, you will see the history of coursework if one is available for you. This includes transfer coursework and any advanced placement, international baccalaureate, post-secondary education coursework, or college in the schools coursework. I'll speak more to this after we get through all of the sections of the APAS. Included on every APAS is a status line. This tells you your overall status for your degree program. The status line will indicate that you are either okay and have completed all of your degree requirements, no, you have at least one requirement to complete, or that all your requirements will be satisfied when you complete any in-progress coursework. On your APAS, you'll also find a legend or a key to deciphering the symbols used on your audit. Become familiar with at least these 5 symbols. No means that you have not completed a degree requirement. Okay means you have successfully completed a requirement. In progress will show when courses you are using to complete that requirement are still in progress. You'll see a plus symbol next to completed or in progress sub-requirements, and the minus symbol is simply the opposite of the plus symbol. If you haven't completed a sub-requirement, you'll see it listed. Let's move on to the requirements that all university students must complete: writing intensive, liberal education, and major program requirements. If you have completed the Minnesota Transfer Curriculum or a bachelor's degree from an accredited university, this requirement has been waived on your APAS. If you have completed an AA degree, some of these requirements will be waived. Also, you may have additional requirements to these depending on what you're studying. For example, all students completing a Bachelor of Arts are required to complete the second language requirement. This information will also appear on your APAS. All university students are required to satisfy the writing intensive requirement. This has 3 components: freshman writing, which can be satisfied by a single course, lower division writing, and upper division writing. A total of 4 courses are required to satisfy the lower and upper division requirements, 2 of which must be 3000 level or higher. You will also need to satisfy your liberal education or LE requirements. There are 4 diversified core LE requirements and 5 designated theme LE requirements. Both core and theme have sub-requirements. There are many courses you can take that will satisfy both a core, a theme, and a writing intensive requirement. I'll talk more about that once I've covered the rest of the APAS. The diversified core requirements are physical and biological sciences, history and social science, arts and humanities, and mathematical thinking. With the exception of mathematical thinking, all diversified core requirements each have 2 sub-requirements. You will need to take a different course to satisfy each core sub-requirement. The designated themes requirement is a bit different. Here, you need to take courses that satisfy 4 of the 5 themes in order to meet the requirement, so you have some choice. The 5 designated themes are civic life and ethics, diversity and social justice in the United States, the environment, global perspectives, and technology and society. Next, let's talk about the major requirements section of your APAS. Your major, sometimes called a degree program, is probably why you chose to come to the U. If you want to be an architect, there are certain courses you'll need to take in order to be a great designer. The major requirements will tell you in more detail what those courses will be. Like the liberal education core and theme requirements, many majors have requirements that are met by fulfilling sub-requirements. Depending on your major, you may have a lot of courses to choose from to fulfill a requirement or sub-requirement. You may have prerequisite courses you need to take before you can move on to more advanced coursework. It really depends on how the curriculum of your major has been designed. Your advisor will work with you more closely to navigate this section of the APAS. One final note on this section, though. Your major requirements are specific to you based on your bulletin term year. It's possible that your requirements differ from your roommate in the same major if he or she started the program at a different time. For the most part, whatever coursework you need to complete for your major requirements will stay the same from the time you begin at the U until you graduate in 4 years. All right, we've reviewed all of the requirements of the APAS, so let's finish up with some incredibly important things to remember. You will not need to take one course to fill each of your sub-requirements. Many courses can fulfill more than one requirement. For example, a course might meet both a liberal education core and theme requirement. A course that is required for your major might also meet a writing intensive requirement. Work with your advisor to make efficient course choices. Remember at the beginning when we talked about the history of coursework? This was where you would find any transfer coursework or advanced placement, international baccalaureate, post-secondary education, or college in the schools information. If you have transfer courses or credits that appear in the history of coursework section, these have already satisfied some of your requirements. Your advisor will know this too, but you should become familiar with where you have already met a requirement. At the very end of your APAS, the last 2 sections you'll see are not requirements. They are summaries of how the courses you have taken are meeting or not meeting specific requirements. The first summary at the end of your APAS shows a list of what courses you have taken, transferred in, or registered for are meeting your degree requirements. These are called degree applicable courses. What you need to remember is that it's important to know what your degree requirements are and not assume that the more credits and courses you take, the further along you are in your program. Depending on your program, you likely have room to take what are known as free electives. Let's say you've satisfied all your LE requirements and then you register for a course that would have satisfied your mathematical thinking requirement again. Unless you have a different degree requirement that could be satisfied by that course, it is considered an elective. If you have room in your program for electives, these are known as free electives. These courses are counted to meet the minimum degree credit requirement. If the APAS you are viewing has no room for free electives, courses that do not meet the program requirements will show up here as elective courses that are currently not applicable to this degree program. Let's call these excess electives. Be aware that if you have an additional major, minor, or prerequisites for courses or programs, excess electives might satisfy those requirements and still appear in this section. This is why it's so important to understand the requirements for your program and any additional majors or minors.